Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. And today topic is gonna be how to buy your first SoCal rental property in 2026. And I'm gonna go through the 4 steps that show you how to do that. Again, hi, thank you so much for coming back. And my name is Kwa, and I'm with K2 Wealth Builder, a licensed realtor in Southern California. I do help people buy, sell, and also rent property. We manage property as well. Anyway, let's get started. So the first step you need to do is you need to secure an expert representation. It's either a broker or a licensed agent, right? So if you don't have a license yourself, which I recommend everybody should do, it doesn't cost a lot to get a license. Once you're licensed, you have access to the MLS directly, so you don't have to wait for an agent to send you property that that might be a good deal. So if you don't have a license, find somebody who actually own investment property, because the mindset of a regular license without property management skill and one that do have their own property is completely different. So a standard residential agent might prioritize making the money. They might prioritize like good, like nice granite countertop, but investor agent will prioritize the cap rate, the rental potential, and the kind of like the control of the rent control of the ordinance, the area that it's in. So make sure that you find somebody who is very familiar with the rental market, and what kind of what kind of repairs and to put into a property, so that you don't overspend and you still have a good cash flow from the property. The second thing you need to do is you need to underwrite the new loan. Never trust a pro forma. When an agent sends you like a listing, make sure that you run the number yourself and don't just trust on the number that the listing agent put on there or the seller put on there, because they always very optimistic about their property. For example, if the current rent is like 2,000 a month, they might say the pro forma could be like 2,500. So don't use the 2,500, but actually use the 2,000 per month. And the reason for that is because, for example, let's say this property right here, this is in Garden Grove, so it's like 2 million, right? 4 units right here. They're gonna list 2,200 a month, right? Which is the actual rent. Even though they said actual here, make sure that you or your client, your agent actually verify this with the rent roll, right? Because they can list whatever is here, but you can come in and then you end up like, oh, they said there's four occupied unit, but then you might end up with like 3 or 2 only, and 2 of them is just like an estimate. So make sure that you verify that somebody lived there. And the other thing is you verify that the rent they actually collected is the one they listed, right? And then the pro forma is mean the market rate, which they can expect over the year you'll be able to raise up that much. But of course, when you first come in, you're gonna have to be realistic and calculate based on the actual rent itself. So don't depend on the pro forma of the seller themselves. And what I usually do before is, when I see something like this, I can grab the address, right? And then I can go into like a website called Rantometer, right? Click, if you have an account with this, you can use it. If don't, then I think they let you do it for like free, a couple free. So I'll put in the address, bedroom, how many bathroom it has. So this one is 2 baths, so you could put 2 here. The time, lease, the type of property, it's gonna be apartments, right? And then just check rent, and they give you an estimate. Oh, you can actually get all the way up to 3,200 a month for these, right? So the performance is actually low. Eventually you might be able to rent it all the way to 3,200, but as you can see, the number here is only 2,200. So you have to actually calculate your deal based on the 2,200 per unit to see how much it's worth, because this one is listed for 2 million, so it might be too high. Anyway, once you run your own number and you can secure the loan, make sure that you borrow only around 75%. Make sure you have enough down payment. I think most investment probably require 25% down. The reason for that is to mitigate the risk from the lender. If you borrow too much, the lender will be scared and they're gonna have to charge you a higher rate. The best rate you can get is if you're down at least 25%, right? So make sure that you do that. I don't like to over leverage myself, so whenever possible, I try to get to 25 to 30%, because then that's the average rate that you might be able, like the best rate that you can get, and the moderate risk level, because even if a couple of like properties like not rented out because the borrowing, you only borrow 75%, then the mortgage is gonna be lower, and with the lower mortgage you can might be able to handle the property, continue to get your prop continue to pay the mortgage with the remaining rent, right? So loan to value should be only 75%. Don't go over it. Most of my like all my property I purchased, I never borrow more than 75%. Right? Why an 80 or 90% loan exists? High price point make high leverage dangerous. Like if you borrow too much, and then let's say the mortgage is really high, and then 1 month you lose like 1 out of 4 unit, that's not going to be enough to cover your mortgage, and then because of that you might have to get money out of pocket. And we know every single time somebody move out, it's gonna take you at least half a month to move somebody back in. So if you do that and you're over leveraged, then that month you're probably gonna lose money. So, and then the last step is make sure that you stabilize the rent, because every single time you come in to purchase a new property, there's a lot of like repairs need to be done, and then there's a lot of like people moving in and out. You might have to raise the rent, and then if you raise the rent, somebody's gonna move out, so you can have a vacancy, and you have to take time to put somebody new in. So make sure that you have a you can you can stabilize the rent within like the first 6 to 12 months before you look for the next property, right? So once you close, focus entirely on the tenant experience and property performance. Do not look for a second property until you have at least 6 months of stable seasonal rental income. This proves to the lender that you can manage the property and allow you to your cash reserve to recover after the initial down payment. And because of that, also because this is your first property, there's a lot of issue that it might come at the first time. So give yourself that time frame to learn all the issue that might come up with managing rental property and managing tenants. Because if you buy a property and then there's a whole bunch of issue in the first few months, and then you don't know how to resolve them like quickly, and then the tenant experience is not good, then they might move out, and then you're gonna lose on the rent. So don't rush into buying a second property right away. Make sure that the first property is stabilized, the rent coming in like consistently every month, and you learn everything that you could learn, or what how to manage the property. I always recommend you manage your own property if you're able to. You can hire a property manager to do that, but in order to do that, you might have to pay them. And so in step two, I said underwrite the net cash flow yourself. The reason for that is here. Let me get you so here, let's take this property for example. This is in Orange County, California. Right from the start, when it's like 2 million like this, and then the rental income like average like 10,000. I already know this is underwater, but just to show you how much underwater it is, let me see if I can pull up my calculator to give you a kind of like a hint of how underwater this property is. And now I'll try to show you some property that might be better for investment, right? So here you go. So I have a calculator. This is like a calculator I created myself. It's called a mortgage calculator. So as you can see here, I have like a couple of like orange, right? So this one, they said the property is 2.85, assuming that you can get it at that price, right? So let's see this, right? I think this one, I don't need this anymore. Oh, come on, let's leave that. This one, insurance for this property is probably gonna be like 5,000, right? I'm just, yeah. And then let's say interest rate right now is like 6.5%. Just change that, right? So 6.5% price, down payment is gonna be like 30%. I'll just change it to 25% to see. Most of the time I do 30 for myself, but here let's say you down to 522,000, right? And rent, if you add these up, right? 22, 2000, 21, and 22. So go 2200, 2000, 2100, and 2200, right? So you only bring in 8500. And look at this. mortgage itself is already 10,000, so it's already more than the revenue, and that's the mortgage, right? And you have to subtract the property tax, which is close, over 2,000 a month, because it's a 1.1% of the purchase price. Then insurance is 5,000 a month divided by 12, you get around 400 a month in insurance. And then you have to allocate some money for maintenance. I think I allocate like 8% here. Based on my calculator, I allocate 8% management. I allocate 5% electricity, gas, trash, and water. Most of the time, we have to cover water and trash, gas and electricity. Electricity, you can give, you can let the tenant take care of that. But most of the time, you have to cover water and trash, or I do that on my property because it's hard. Like sometimes you have like one water bill for all the units because it doesn't have a split meter. So you have to calculate that into the calculator, right? Vacancy, I use around 5% vacancy. And then property management, the reason I calculate this is because most of the people that invest, they don't want to be bothered with like managing their own property, so I allocate 10% for that. And as you can see, this property here in Orange County, if you could buy it for like 2 million at list price, you'll be looking at losing 6,000 a month on it. Even if you can get a discount like 1.5 million, you're still losing money on this property, right? So a lot of time, like a lot of my clients, like they said, oh, can you look for me to see if I can invest something in Orange County, California that's cash flow? I said, don't bother, because I know for sure that it's very hard to find something, and if you do, then you have to be very careful why they're selling it for that, because everybody's selling it like at a 3 or 4% cap rate already, right? So this one cap rate is 3.1% based on my calculation, right? If I can buy it for 1.5, but if I can buy it at 2 million, the cap rate dropped to 2%. Average cap rate, a good cap rate, the higher the cap rate, the better the price is. So you're trying to target at least a 6% cap rate. So in order for this property to be worth it, because of the rent only is 8,500, I'm looking at 900,000 only. If you can buy it at 900,000, maybe you eke out like a small profit. But for it to be 2 million, it's like a million overpriced, right? So let's see if I can find another few properties. So this one, my criteria is coming soon and active. I'm going from 0 to 3 million, and I'm only limited to 2 to 4 unit because this video is for first time investor, first time rental property, like first rental property. So I'm looking at Riverside, San Bernardino, and Orange County, and then I do a result. I cut like around 300 result here or something. And the first one is like this one, right? But this one's too much, as you can see. And then these are like Lake Elsinore. I think this might work. This is like an hour from here, like 700,000. As you can see, they don't give you like a good breakdown. They said 4 unit at 12 bed, no bathroom, and then they don't even have an actual rent. So it's very hard to run the number for this type of property, right? Let's see, anything else that's interesting? Let me see if I can sort it by price. Barstow. Barstow is okay. Barstow, see, this one's 3 unit in Barstow. This is like complete trash. Anyway, let's see if I can find something that's good. Yemen, Barstow. I like Barstow though. Let's see. Okay, so this one is a 2 unit in Barstow, 265. Yeah. I haven't gone through this list yet, so I don't know if they are good. But I do have a list that I save myself because I come up here like once or twice every week, and then anything that's interesting, I'll put it into my cart, and then I'll revisit it down the line. But when I look at it, it's good, but then it's not good enough for me to act on it. So something like this, like in Blythe, it's kind of like 3 hours from where I live, 7 units for like 800,000, right? And look at this, see, it's bringing 100,000 a year, right? So this one, 1,200, too bad. Let's see, and they have 7 unit like that. So let's see this. Let's see what's the actual rent is for this. Edit. Right. Too bad. One bad. Look at this. Right. So I can get 1,000. Right. They said 1,200. the calculator said 1,000. So 7 unit, 7,000 a month, right? So 7,000 a month. I think they overestimating that price though, but it's not too bad. 800,000, right? 800,000 for price. This one's not gonna be 5,000. It's probably gonna be closer to like 2,500 for insurance. See this? At least this one you're coming out with a profit. And the nice thing is if you manage it yourself, you get that $700 back per month because you're not paying anybody. So if you can manage it yourself, you're actually making like 900 a month. See? So this is what I do whenever I'm trying to run the number for the deal. Make sure that I put it in my calculator percentage, mortgage amount, and see. So this one's not bad, but it's a bit too far for me. This is still on my card. This one has been listed for like almost 3 months. This one Apple Valley 6 unit, 900. This is not bad, but this is kind of low though. 1 unit bed, 1 bath. So let's see anything else that's interesting here. Palm. This one's a bit far. Big Bear, no. Victorville. Oh, this one's not bad. Oh, but wait, rental's not that good. Because I'm looking at this one, and this one, if I divide by 12, it's only like 9,000 a month. And with this price, I already know because I does this so often. I already know it's not gonna have cash flow like 977, right? So 9777 a month, right? And then this one, they want 1.125, 1.125, right? See, you're making, yeah, you do make money, a little bit money if you buy at that price. But with this, you might be able to lower that, kind of like bid it lower. Oh, this one might be because that one might be too low. 4,000 years might make more sense. So that's why I keep this because this one's only been on the market for 60 days. So I put it in my cart. I'll revisit it if it doesn't sell in like 6 months or something. This one, 1.15 unit. No, see this? Not that good. No, 10,000 a month. So let's go. Anything more interesting? This one might be good. This one might be good because I know this area, San Bernardino, 6 unit in San Bernardino. I do rent it. One of my partner now costs 1650 in San Bernardino. Let's see, 2-1, right? 1650. I think it might be more. 1600. 1600 times 6. 1600 times 6 is 9600. And look at the price, 1.18. 1.18. So it's not that bad. 1.18. I'll still lose money, but list price has been there for half a year. So of course you can lower the price if you can buy this close to 1.1 or even 1.05, right? You're making a good, cap rate 6%. So this is actually how I come up with my offer price. Also, I'm making sure that I get at least 6% cap rate, and based on the rent, I can I can do that because this is 1.18 is a bit too high. It's like only 5.4 cap rate, right? So this is okay potentially if I bid it lower. All right, this one's Apple Valley 7 unit for 1.25. See this, not too much. And the other thing is I like the consistent unit mix. I don't like it like if it's like 1-1 or 2-2. I kind of like it consistently. So it's hard to rent out one bedroom, or to me at least, because I love to rent it to family. So when there's a family, there should be at least like if there's a mom and dad and like a couple kids, then there should be at least 2 beds because 1 bed is gonna be too small for a family. So I love to rent to family because they're more consistent and they're more likely to stay longer. So this one's a bit too low, right? 1.14 with 1.3 price, so it's not that good. Let's see. Okay, this one is one of my friend, a realtor too. He came to me and he said that the seller is willing to lower it a bit, but the thing is like I look at the cash flow. It's not that bad, but it might be too expensive right now. It might be too expensive right now. And the reason for that is because I checked this and I just noticed like the other thing you want to see is you want to see how the property was like. I look at the history of this, and because I have a license so I can see this, like just see this. They just bought it last year for 1.05, right? That's only like not even a year. We're in like only April. This one sold in May, and now they want to make $400,000 on it within a year. That's crazy. No, unless they did a whole bunch of like repairs on this property, it doesn't warrant that kind of a jump, right? So that be careful with that too, right? Because as you know, not only do you have to make sure the number makes sense, but you have to make sure the number makes sense to the lender too. Because when you borrow money and the lender go into the history and they say, oh, not even a year ago it's only sold for 1 million. What kind of upgrade do they have for them to to ask for a price of 1.4 $400,000 within a year? And if it doesn't make sense to the lender, then they might not even lend it to you. So that's the other thing you have to see. Like, so this one's not worth it. Like, for now, like, there's nothing. I mean, I know it's 10 unit and 1.4 is not that bad, but it doesn't make sense because somebody just bought it last year for only 1 million, right? So there's a couple probably here that's really nice. This one's too high because it's 1.6 and it's only bringing 129,000 a year, right? So this one, right? No, just gonna skip that, skip that, skip that. Like Elsinore, this one's too high. 1, 2, okay. Not like a 1%. Not like a 1%. This one's too high. Only 16 units. It's like 3 million. It's not bad. It could be better, but this one's not that bad. Look. So this one's all 2 1s, right? And earlier we looking at like 1600 for 2 1s, right? 1600, 16% units, right? So go 16 times 16, right? Oh, 16, my friend. There we go. 25,000. So this one should be closer to 22.5 million, not 3 million, right? Because if you put 3 million here, right, at 6.5%, you're looking at a small profit, right? So it's a 6% cap, so it's not that bad. Actually, no, wait, sorry, I have to change this too. This one should be, I know 3 million. This is like around, I think we're paying like 13,000, so 12,000 per year is not that out of the question for the insurance. So yeah, you're looking at like 200,000. If you have somebody manage it, like for you have only like $200 a month in profit, which is not worth it for putting in 750,000 down, right? So the thing is, like, this one's been on the market for a year, over a year. So of course, obviously that price is too high. They already went down 100,000, but I think in order to make this work, they might need like another 2,500, right? Lower like this, right? So this is good. Anyway, but because this is like a first time home buyer, my first investment property, let me see if I can find something in the range of the first investment property, because I'm looking at like a smaller unit count. Oh, what's this? Black Bear, Black. Oh no, it's Big Bear. This, yeah. Let me see if I can get the criteria changes. Go action. Oh, this is my card. Let me go back here. Let's see this one. How many is this? Okay. So let me go to criteria. Let me go to 2 to 4, right? And then add in orange, right? And 2 million. That doesn't make sense though. But let's see. Let me see. Low price, Barstow, anything close? Barstow, something like this. Ooh. Oh, okay. 2 units, 2,500. Oh, it's too expensive. 3 unit, 24. No, this is not bad. This is not bad. This might work. But they don't have what is it called? Oh, see, nice. So it's like a unique downtown village, just one block from just a block from off of land commercial association single parcel. So this one is true, 300,000 only. This is actually not bad for a first investment property, right? So you have a 2 bed, 1 bath, and then a 1 1, right? So how much is 2 1? I might be running out of my free here, but let's see, check result. So 2-1 is 1250. The first unit you can rent for 1250. Let's say the second and third unit you can rent for 1,000, right? So look at this one. This one should be like I think 3,000. Yeah, see. So this one is like a 7% cap. So something like this, if you're willing to do it, right? You can actually hire a property manager to manage it for you, which is like 10% of the rent, right? And you can make $367 a month, right? On the 75,000. If you time that by 12, right? 12, right? And then you divide it by this original investment, you're looking at a 6% returns. So it's not bad. I think it's, I calculated here 5.9% returns. So something like this, if for your first property, and again, the mortgage is only 1,400 a month. So even if you don't have tenant for the whole month, you're still losing only 1,400 coming out of your pocket. Other than that, and tax and insurance, right? Yeah, those like 1,900. So it's not that bad because you don't pay any of those. But anyway, if you have it full rented out, you might be able to look at RO $367 a month. So again, recap. So basically, if you want to buy your first property, here's the step I'm going through. Right, make sure that you secure an expert representation. So make sure you find like an agent or a brokerage that manage property and have experience in property management to be able to help you, preferably like an investor themselves, right? Because the thing is like when they own their own property, they tend to care more, right? So and then they understand, and then they will be able to align your interest with their interest, right? And they might be able to help you manage property afterward too. So that's a good thing. After you secure a good agent, make sure that whenever they bring a deal to you, you underwrite it yourself, right? You don't just take their word for it. They can say, oh, this property is really good. It's gonna give you like $400 to $500 per month in cash flow. Make sure you run your own number. Go through the average rent for the area. Make sure that you put in a calculator somewhere. Create your own calculator or whatever, and make sure that you account for mortgage, property tax, insurance, maintenance, utility, vacancy, and property management before you come to the profit or loss number. Run it yourself. Make sure that makes sense, right? And then secure a 25% equity. Make sure you bring in at least 25% down payment and only borrow 75% to make so don't over leverage yourself, because the reason you don't want to be over leveraged, because if you over leverage and then there's vacancy or there's repair and stuff like that, you might money might come out of your pocket because you're borrowing too much and the rate is too high. So at least 25% will give you the best rate, right? And then the last option is to make sure that you purchase property, you give it some time, because real estate is it's not a quick it's not a get rich quick scheme. It's a slow game. A lot of time like somebody who buy a property and then they expect that a ton of money will come in like the first 6 months to a year, and then if it doesn't give them that, they think it's a failure. But the true money, the true wealth building in real estate investing is actually in year 3, year 4, year 5, because by then you have built up enough cash reserve, and then all your maintenance will be clear by that, because you probably solve all the problem. So in future year it's less maintenance, and in future year it's more stable, because you have good tenants, you put in good tenants in there, so the future year will be the one that making a lot of money. If you have 3 units like this one right here, and let's say each year you increase the rent by $50 per unit, right? Look at this. The first year you make $367, right? The second year you make $475. So you're making even though you increase the rent by 150, you capture like $125 in there. And then look at this, what happened to the third year, right? You add another 150. You see that? Look at the number, and look at this. You time it by 12, right? See? Look at that. That's a good chunk of change, right? The first year you're only making how much per year? Only 4,400, right? But then the second, look, I already calculated here. So just 150 times 3, sorry, 150, right, per year times 3, right? So 3700. So look, this one, right? If you go this, that, see, 900, right? Yeah, this one's the same, same. Just 3 years. After 3 years, you're making, you double your income after 3 years. So the first year is nothing. The second and third year is the one that actually. So if I go plus 4500, right? Look, why is the number of it off? Oh, I think the number is off because of the insurance, right? Is it the insurance? No. What happened here? Oh, the property management. I think. Why am I lowering the property management value? This is 10%. This is 10% of age. Yeah, I think I. Why is this more? B3. Oh, yeah, wrong one. Yeah. Oh, yeah. 450. There we go. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. So after 3 years, look at the profit you jump from 4,400 to like 9,200, more than double. If you increase like $50 a month per unit per year. I mean, yeah, $50 per month per unit per year, right? So real estate is the long game, so make sure that you do that. And after that, if you can stabilize your income for 6 to 12 months, and then you think that you can keep on doing it, then yeah, of course, looking for a second property, and kind of like go over step 1 through 4 again. Maybe step 4 next time you don't have to wait 6 months. Next time if you're good enough, you can just wait 3 months or something, and then once everything's stabilized, you can get to the next one, right? And yeah, and that's about it. So thank you so much for watching my video today. And if you think that any of this stuff is helping you or pushing you over the line to invest in real estate, and please go ahead and like the video and subscribe so that I can bring more video like this. And if you want to discuss about your roadmap for real estate investing, I can chat with you. Just leave me a comment, or and let me know, and then I can provide you my contact so that we can talk. Anyway, thank you and see you next time.